Imagine a Pacific island where a small tribe has lived for generations. They have a good way of life built around their village and community. But the livelihoods and way of life of the village are under threat when there is a dark and malevolent force that is spreading across the world. The number of fish in their fisheries have been declining, and now there is none left. And the coconuts that they rely on so heavily are becoming infected by a dark and mysterious force, and are all starting to rot. The protagonist of our story, the chieftain's daughter, whose name is Moana, finds herself completely torn about who she is and what she should do. Her father, the chief, has a strict rule that no one should go out to sea any further than the reef that surrounds the island, protecting it from the worst of nature's dangers. But for her whole life, she's had an innate desire drawing her out to the ocean. There is something about it that calls out to her, and she feels compelled to follow it. She reaches a predicament where she is starting to master the ways of her people and learning to lead them in a competent way. But she feels called out to the ocean, away from her people, leaving her with a sense of confusion, not knowing who she is or what she should do. Her grandmother, the chieftain's mother, has always encouraged her to follow her heart. And if she hears a call from within her telling her to go out there, then that call is who she is. On one side, she has her father, the conservative spirit of tradition, urging her to stay with her feet firmly planted on dry land and be the reliable leader that her people need her to be. And on her other side, she has her grandmother, the regenerative spirit of adventure, say, encouraging her to follow that quiet voice inside her and go out beyond the horizon. The situation isn't just about Moana wanting to shirk responsibility and follow her dream to gratify her own desires, abandoning her people. Their way of life is being threatened, and maybe out there beyond the reef lies the answers. Moana's grandmother knows that Moana must venture out to sea and put right the cosmic imbalance that is causing the devastation. So she decides to show Moana something that will help her to understand who she really is and integrate her identity. And this thing has been hidden beneath the island that they live on all along. It's a huge, dark cavern under the conscious awareness of those living above. Moana has to enter into the cavern through a small, blocked up and hard to find passage. But once inside, she finds massive boats, dozens of them, with murals on the sides depicting all the boats together sailing across the ocean. Inside the cavern, Moana has a vision of her ancestors, voyaging across the ocean, exploring and finding new islands to inhabit, and passing this legacy from one generation to the next. At the end of this vision, Moana realizes that these people, these voyagers, her ancestors, they are who she is. That's why she has a deep, innate calling to go out to sea. This realization enables Moana to integrate her identity and to understand who she really is. And only once she has integrated her identity in this way is she ready to go out beyond the reef, beyond the collective comfort zone, having the adventure of her life and restoring the balance. Without understanding where we have come from, our history, our ancestry, our evolution, how can we ever fully integrate our identity? We might be left to think that we are no more than just a product of our environment, yet there is often a quiet voice inside of each of us that whispers of things that are beyond our current circumstances. We can feel lost or adrift in life, feeling like we don't belong where we currently are, repeating old degenerative patterns because we have no understanding of the true potential that lies within us and how to integrate it. Within each of us lies a vast, unconscious cavern filled with the truth of who we are and the potential that we hold. Within you, written into your DNA, is a legacy of countless generations of your ancestors. They confronted challenges and fought for survival, well-being, and prosperity, and ultimately succeeded in doing so. Your ancestors' willingness to break out of their comfort zone and participate in the adventure into the unknown is what has continually led to the success and expansion of the human race. That same spirit and willingness also lies within you. There is much more to you than you are currently aware of. Our ancestry and our history has more power than what has been written into our DNA though. We learnt how to write, and that meant easily transmittable and compounding knowledge and wisdom. We stand on the shoulders of giants. Every advancement in human history, from the harnessing of fire to the invention of the internet, was built upon the knowledge and the breakthroughs of those who came before. By expanding our understanding of the past, we can access a treasure trove of insights that can accelerate our growth. By learning about the greatest achievements of humankind, but also the most terrible atrocities, you learn deeply about the nature of your own self. We are all human, and every human experience reflects something that is inherently within us. Think about this. Every time you're really going through it, like you're having a hard time, there has been someone in history that has been through the same thing or much, much worse and has overcome it and come out the other side of that thing even greater than they were before. The knowledge and the understanding of this that can be gained through exploring our history will enable you to more completely embody the potential and the resilience that lies within you. So start to look into and research your own history, your own ancestry, and the broader history of humankind. Follow whatever areas you're most curious about and what interests you the most. Read books, listen to podcasts, watch YouTube videos, documentaries, movies, and have conversations and explore what it truly means to be human. The goal isn't just simply to accumulate knowledge though, it's about taking what you learn and applying it to create a more fulfilling life. As you explore your own historic curiosities, reflect on how they resonate with your own past, your current experience, and your future aspirations. Broaden your understanding and through application, transmute it into wisdom. Weave the knowledge that you are gaining into your own narrative and become the hero of your own story. Every human story, from the imaginary Disney stories of Moana going out into the unknown to restore the balance, to the very real-life situations of work and hardships in our own lives, reflects the potential that lies within each of us and how we understand the world. Understanding yourself through multiple levels of abstraction, from your ancestral history to the choking and limiting weeds in the garden of your mind, to the heavenly vision that you have for the future of your own life, will enable you to start integrating and unifying that fragmented identity that I talked about at the start of stage 3 of the Phoenix 90. When you understand yourself through the multiple levels of who you are, when you consciously confront what you are avoiding, and when you intentionally attend to the garden of your own mind and the construction of your highest possible identity, that's when you'll become the person that quiet voice inside you whispers about.